All right, let's start out there. Noon Eastern time, 10 a.m. Mountain time, Salt Lake City. Texas Tech coming into town to take on Utah. There was the comment in the tailgate at the beginning of the show. How do I even look at this game? Neither of these teams have had to really, face any real competition. I mean, we thought Utah had in name a power conference opener, but all the evidence since then suggests that I don't know if we can take much out of that game. But I do think these are both the most I think these are both the most dangerous teams in the Big 12. I think they both have the highest ceilings in the Big 12. And now we get to see maybe the first of two matchups, especially because they'll both have a long journey before the end of the season as well, but just a massive part of the Big 12 title race. But first word here, where do you start to look at this and feel like you do have a grasp of how these two teams line up against each other?
Okay, so I think the one notable is that Utah offensive line against the Texas Tech D-line. Like, Texas Tech spent a boatload of money on the defensive line. I don't know if they got quite what maybe that same amount of money would have got us last year, but they definitely got a lot of quality pieces who can play big-time college football and are good players. And that unit so far has absolutely wrecked everybody up front. Now, granted, like you said, the schedule has been tissue paper soft. On the other hand, Utah's offensive line has looked pretty damn good as well. That tackle tandem is fantastic. They're going to get a lot of 11-man run game with the quarterback, Dampier, and that pretty inventive Jason Beck scheme. So I'm really excited. Like, that's the kind of the key matchup of studs v. studs to watching this game. It's probably like the one that if there is a big advantage there on either side, it's probably good night for the other team, because like I think both teams would probably go into this game expecting a bit of a stalemate there, right? Like, this is our good on their good. We probably won't dominate them. They probably won't dominate us. Like, Bailey is more of a pass rusher for Texas Tech than he is a run defender. So, I'm interested to see how they handle him. Like, do they read off him in the QB option game? Do they try to just run right at him? I don't know, but like, that's going to be something I'm watching early on for sure. And Utah's got a young tight end, JJ Buchanan, who I think this guy might be a stud, man. Like, really athletic kid. He's playing like actual snaps for Utah as a true freshman. Doesn't happen a whole lot. So how does he look in the blocking game? They kind of split him out so far. Haven't really had him in the run game stuff just as yet. Not a ton. He's a little light for now, but how much does he factor in here as well?
Yeah, and like, going further on that Tech defensive front, like what we've seen from them in 3 games, and a lot of this is, opponent dependent, and the fact the scores just show it. But they've also been very deep on their defensive line in that they are rotating guys in and out. And where like David Bailey's the headliner, Romello Heights the headliner, like a lot of guys have been getting snaps, and they've all typically been playing pretty well. I think their linebackers are playing very well in the run. They're flying to the ball. Jacob Rodriguez has been fantastic. And just overall, you look at the stats, like offensively, they've been incredible, and that's getting a ton of attention. But they're 5th in success rate on defense. They are 6th in rushing EPA on defense, and they're 19th in pressure rate. So they've been good at both stopping the run and handling against the pass. So that's points. So this is going to be big against Utah because, as Bud mentioned, like, the Utah offensive line isn't just the best offensive line in the Big 12. It's one of the best offensive lines in the country. There are NFL players on it. So that is going to be a huge matchup for them. I love the idea of what you're mentioning with Bailey, because if I am Utah, I think I'm running right at him. I'm looking where he is pre-snap, and that's where I'm sending my running game. So, because he needs to prove he can hold up against it. That's been the knock on him in the scouting community for a while. Nobody questions his ability to get after the quarterback. And that's where things are interesting, because both of these offenses have been very good, but they're kind of going about it in different ways. Tech is extremely explosive. Their explosive play rate right now is 2nd in the country. They trail only USC, whereas Utah is 78th. They're very much a move the chains kind of offense, and their passing game has been fine. It hasn't really been explosive. Dampier has been the main guy. He's been what the focal point or the fulcrum of the offense has been. And what they do is they put together long drives. Dampier keeps the chains moving with his legs when he has to, or just making the throws when he needs to. They get to the red zone and they finish. Like, they have been to the red zone on 52% of their possessions, and they're averaging 5.63 points per trip when they get there. That's a very, very effective approach to playing football on offense. So if you're Texas Tech, are you going to use a guy like Rodriguez to spy Dampier? You probably will, but how effective will it be? And can you continue to get pressure on him? But can you get pressure on Dampier while keeping him hemmed in the pocket? Because if you're getting pressure but allowing him lanes to escape, you're going to kill yourself.
I think that's the biggest dynamic in this game is the completely different styles of the quarterbacks. Barron Morton will sit back there and pick you apart from the pocket. They will take their shots down the field, and they have been hitting him. But they've got to protect him because he's not the most elusive. He doesn't like to escape the pocket. He is more of a pure pocket passer. And on the flip side, Dampierre is a weapon as a runner. The most important thing for him, he's been clean with turnovers. That was something he struggled at last year. And I would imagine when you face better competition like you are this weekend, that becomes a little bit more risky, something to keep an eye on. Like, how does he take care of the football in a game like this? When it's a little bit tighter, less margin for error, you're going to be asked to do more, even carrying the football. But they've got a difference maker in the run game, and Texas Tech does not. I hate that this game's at 10 a.m. local too, by the way.
Yeah,
I hate it for these kids. Like, and I hate it for the fans, like having to get there. What do you get there at 7 a.m. to tailgate? Yeah. It's going to be a little bit lethargic at the start. I'm sure they have a great scene. It's a great field, great environment there at Rice Eccles. I just hate for everybody that's at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a big factor here because, like, you have to survive the first quarter because it's reasonable to expect that the play early could be sloppy. And if you make a couple mistakes because of, like, the weird time, because nobody starts games at 10 a.m. Like, who's ever played a game at 10 a.m. at home? But, yeah, I think the first quarter will be huge.
So the chat does point out that Utah fans are probably drinking a little bit less than normal fans, so they may not need a lot of time.
I disagree. Don't get your BYU generalizations confused with your Utah generalizations, because the colors on the uniforms are not the only things that Utah fans and BYU fans don't always see eye to eye on.
Got to make the special call for that unleaded Coca-Cola. Let's see here. Other things I'm interested in, if Texas Tech has to end up blitzing a lot, which right now they've not had to because they've only able to get home with 4, who wins that matchup? Because so far, Texas Tech DBs look great. I think Utah's receivers are just kind of meh to me. Utah does a lot to scheme those guys open. Like, if you have to have a lot of one-on-ones, how well does Texas Tech hold up in the back end? Because I'm not really sure how much pressure Texas Tech's going to get with 4. Do they end up blitzing a lot here? Do you risk the big play? As Tom noted, Utah has been like absolutely deadly in the red zone for the most part, with the exception of when their kicker missed all those field goals last week against Wyoming in kind of a weird, obvious flat spot.
Great for the underside. Come on, bud.
Yeah. On the other side, like with these Texas Tech receivers have been awesome, and I don't think that Utah has faced a lot of really good pass catchers so far. UCLA's guys are actually okay to me, but everybody else they've faced, not really. So, like looking at that, there are a lot of fun unknowns in this game, but these do look like so far probably the 2 best teams in the Big 12.
I know Joe McGuire, that was Joe McGuire's big concern coming into the season. He felt really good about his front 7. The back end was what he was worried about, and they've been trying to figure out who's standing out, who's there. Still haven't been tested. I think like they're going to get tested in this game,
and it may not be a problem.
Right?
We'll see.
Also, your boy Buchanan's not the only tight end that we could see, in here. And that's where it's not necessarily, you might not have that huge game breaker on the outside, but Dallin Bentley's got 11 catches for 112 yards so far on the season. That's second on the team in receptions. Hunter Andrews has got 8 catches through 3 games so far. So it might not be that true game-breaking wide receiver. It might be some matchup issues for Texas Tech in terms of being able to defend against not just maybe 11 personnel, but even if they start bringing out multiple tight ends as receiving threats, seeing how Texas Tech matches up with that, because that's not what Texas Tech always has to face. I mean, this is where Utah in the Big 12, when they arrived, we thought about them as having the opportunity to be a little bit of a stylistic challenge, in addition to being the elevation that they have at Salt Lake. And yeah, I as much as I try to draw the line between Utah and BYU, it still is 10 a.m. and the student section, the muss, ain't going to be rocking like on those Pac-12 after dark games when they were, kicking off at 8 local, and you were able to really see them rise to the occasion.
You mentioned Dallin Bentley. I mean, he was playing for Snow College in 2022. So I'm trying to think, like, when was this kid? Like, they might have like a 24-year-old tight end here. He's a big dude. That's a nice advantage for Utah.
For Texas Tech, do you see the environment as a real difference maker? Like, are they going to be ready to go up there and, still play?
Altitude as well.
Yeah.
Altitude is always something that I just always remind people, having played in Denver at altitude, it's just more challenging.
Utah is, to me, the biggest home field / like road split of any team in the country. Like that's legitimate. We talked about this 2 years ago when Florida went up there, and Florida just kind of self-destructed, right? Like, and that's not like trying to crap on the Gators. Utah plays extremely well at home. That is a tough place to play.
When one last thought here, or I don't want, it doesn't have to be the final one, but what's the tempo approach? Bud, I mean, you're our tempo guy.
Yeah, I can't see Utah. I cannot see Utah trying to match the tempo of Texas Tech.
Right.
I think they'll try to hold the football, not let Texas Tech get out there and run. Texas Tech can do a little bit of variable tempo, but I'm not really sure how much of that is just they've had huge leads in games. Like last week, they clearly let off the gas there in the second half, probably in preparation, for this ball game. If I'm Texas Tech, I'm trying to go fast as I can.
That it's even harder to do at altitude, though.
I was going to say, even at altitude, that's.
I mean, Morton has been playing so well. Like he looks back to full health. And he also looks better than he's ever looked. So I want that kid with the ball in his hands as many times as possible.
And if I'm Utah, I want to put a body on him.
Yeah. Utah's been a little bit better defensively than I thought they would be. I thought this offense was going to have to carry this team this year, and the defense has come to play.
Yep. When's the last
Bro,
time?
clutchers beware. Utah should hit him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Was it last season that that somebody tried to come for us for that one?
Oh my God, Notre Dame fans were so furious at us for suggesting that somebody should hit their running quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go watch soccer.
Yeah, Texas Tech played at Wyoming last season or the season before?
Texas Tech played at Wyoming
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, it was my Twitter tip. It did not go well, even though,
they threw like 3 or 4 picks. They had some crazy bounces in that thing. Yeah, that might have been 2 years ago.
Yeah. So at least they will have at least been as a program, as a staff, they will have handled this once already.